trying to stay in front of Jake Melton. Jackson Hayes will protect it effectively.
Look at Jackson run. Look at Jackson rejecting. Back door.
And how's it going, folks? Welcome to Off the Dome Sports. We are back here in the building after 3 long months of break time for myself, just to focus on a few things. But my name is Sean Militello, if y'all didn't know. You can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Trying to get on Spotify pretty soon. Give me a favor. Do me a favor, actually. Give this, if you're on Facebook, give me a like, share, like and share. And on YouTube, give me a subscribe on YouTube for sure. And you can either give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on YouTube. But we got a huge lineup for you here on Off the Dome Sports. First off, we're going to talk some Pelicans basketball. Starting in about 2-3 minutes. And then at 7:20, we got Mr. Bryan Bienemy off of Twitter. I would say he's a Saints king of Twitter, I would say, you know. And then at 7:40, we have Lonn Sullivan of LouisianaOdyssey.com talking all things LSU football. So let's get straight into it. Let's talk about some Pelicans basketball first, and then I'll open up the phone lines. That's something new we have here on Off the Dome Sports. We have a phone line, so you can call that in a minute as we get our first guest, Bryan Bienemy. But anyway, so let's talk about the Pelicans. So the main question I want everybody to answer in the comments section, or you can call in just a second. I'm going to open up the phone lines in a second. But what grade do you give the Pelicans offseason, considering all the moves they have made so far? You have no more Lonzo Ball. You get rid of Steven Adams. You get rid of Eric Bledsoe, which I thought it was going to be impossible to do. But you look at the additions, you got Jonas Valanciunas from the Stevens, Adams, and Eric Bledsoe trade. You do get Devontae Graham in a 3-team trade with Lonzo involved in it going to the Bulls. And plus you get Garrett Temple returning back home. Obviously, he's from Baton Rouge, LSU basketball player, former LSU basketball player. And I believe he's like, the president of NBA Players Association or something like that. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But you bring him down here, a savvy vet. You also got Tomas Satoransky. That was a hard name to pronounce. But you bring in 2 of those guys, 2 veterans. Obviously they might not start for you, but it gives you a little depth on the bench. And you get Jonas, which this opens up a lot of playing time for Kyler Lewis and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, which both I think will come into their own this year and have breakout seasons. I'm trying to see if I can open up the comments section. I think it's kind of that's why I don't think I'm getting any comments right now. Hold on. Let me open up the comments section. I don't know why it's not showing up. All right. I think I have it down for you. So you can comment or you can call in a few minutes and I'll open up the line. But back on the Pelicans, you get rid of Steven Adams, you get rid of Eric Bledsoe, and which is impossible. Okay, there we go. Sorry about yeah, you know, Fallon Junis, and you only moved back 7 spots to draft Trey Murphy, which he's looking like a steal of the draft, man. He's been balling out in the summer league. I don't know if y'all seen the first game he played against. I forgot who we played against, but he had 26 points, 6'9" from the 3-point line. You know, he looks a lot like Cam Johnson. He might be our version of Cam Johnson. As you know, Willie Green, our brand new head coach, he came from Phoenix. So he coached Cam Johnson. So Trey Murphy is a guy, we also got in that trade, 7 spots back. I think we gave up the Lakers pick. It was top 10 protected. It wasn't going to go that low anyway. It's going to be a late round pick because it's the Lakers. And I think you swapped a couple of second round picks. And then you make that sign and trade Alonzo. You bring in Garrett Temple, Thomas Sadorowski. You bring in Devontae Graham in a sign and trade. I think that's involved with it. 3-team trade. Actually, I think the Bulls. I'm not too sure if the Hornets or the Bulls, or was it the Grizzlies? Not too sure. But you bring that in, and I believe you send a first round pick to Charlotte. But I think you get a $17 million trade exception. So, I mean, you can use that on any player given via trade. I seen we're going after Buddy Hield, Laurie Marketing, maybe. I think the Pelicans are not done yet. So, overall, you look at the roster, you look at your guards, you look at your wings, and you look at your bigs. It's pretty solid. I think it's an upgrade from last year. I think it bumps us up a little bit. I don't think it's too much of an upgrade. I think Devontae Graham is definitely a better fit than Lonzo Ball, because Devontae Graham, he's not afraid to score, man. He's not afraid to go after the basket, which he's not very efficient in, but he's a lot smaller than Lonzo. But what he's going to bring is shooting and shot creating on the perimeter as well. He can even shoot it from deep, His play style is kind of similar to Dame. Obviously, he's not even on that level. But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is play style is very similar to Dame Lillard. And he's a guy that's gonna knock down shots when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. So you get you a third scoring option next to Zion and Bi. And I think that's really good. You get Jonas, he's better than Steven Adams. He can actually score offensively. He's healthier. Now, does he give you spacing? Not so much. But, we'll work with it. He's known to hit 1-3, or he's known to attempt 1-3 a game. So maybe, he works on that, and maybe he might become sort of like Brook Lopez, if he does step out there more. He's an awesome screen setter, big time baller in the post. I would say he's not too far off from Vucevic for the Bulls when it comes to the post game. He's almost just as good as them. So you're looking at your starting lineup. Most likely it's going to be Graham, Nikhil, Bi, Zion, and Jonas. Off the bench, you're going to see Kyra, Garrett Temple, Trey Murphy, Didi Lusada, Najee Marshall, Herbert Jones, Jackson Hayes, Wenyen Gable, and Willie Hernan Gomez. So it's not bad. It's a solid little team they have here. And you know what? Zion and Bi, it's time for them to step up. It's time for them to take a extra role in their arsenal. And I'm talking about leadership. It's time for them to grab control of this team because they are the 2 best players of this team. It's time for them to start playing defense. What really irritated me, and I know David Griffin has not been the best GM, but what really irritated me, Zion he had his family member. He speaks out. He says Sion doesn't even want to be here, or not want to be here, but he's growing frustrated, and he feels like he might not be able to win here. And his family member says, I can't remember who it was, maybe his cousin or whatever, but Sion didn't say a word to either defend it or to deny it, which tells me that it's true. Honestly, he doesn't say anything about it, and it's true. He doesn't say anything about the team when he's outside the arena, and he's not very vocal, and you could tell, he's not liking it here so far. But what frustrates me about it is he's not even, for how great he has been, he's not even at his full potential yet to say that he's carrying this team, man. He needs to become more of a leader. He needs to be better defensively. And you can say, well, Sean, he's using all that energy on offense. Okay. And you're a generation talent. You should be able to play both sides of the ball. If you're supposed to be as good as what they say you are, if you're supposed to mold into a Giannis, you should be able to play both sides of the ball and do that for your team. That's carrying your team. And then if you still don't win, then you can say something about it. It's way too early for this discussion. And I absolutely hate how the national media is just poo-pooing on this team, saying we didn't go out and get what Sion needed, which was another star. Well, we tried. Kyle Lowry went to the Miami Heat. He took less money. CP3 is not going to leave Phoenix. We're not going to trade for Dame. I wish we could. And I'm sure they have inquired about it. Bradley Beal seems like he's not going to come. He wants to stay with the Wizards. So what do you want us to do? You get Devontae Graham, which offensively, he's better than Lonzo Ball. He really is. I wouldn't say way better, but I mean, he's the type of scoring that we needed as a third option. Lonzo didn't give you that scoring. He gave you perimeter shooting. But when it comes to actually, trying to score outside of perimeter scoring, he was stuck. He didn't do anything, and he didn't try to attack the basket. And how do I know that? Is he only had what? He only had one free throw attempt a game, one or two. That's how much he averaged. It tells me he's not driving. He's not going to the basket. He's not attacking with his 6'6" ass. Devontae Graham is totally a better fit. Now, I will say this. Lonzo, I think he's going to do something in Chicago. I think he's going to be better in Chicago. So, right before we get to Bryan Bienemy at 7:20, I'm going to open up the phone lines, and y'all can call in if you want, and give your grade on the Pelicans off season. I'm fixing to tell you mine in a minute. And if you do call, make sure, you keep it PG, and don't say anything bad, by the way. So I open up the phone lines. So, and you can call about the Pelicans only. We're going to talk about the Pelicans right now. But I give the Pelicans a B-, and I think that's fair. I don't think that's bias. I don't think that's underselling what they did. You got rid of 2 bad contracts, and you gained a player, and you only moved down 7 spots in the draft, and you gave up a worthless Lakers first-round pick. And you were able to dump off those 2. And, it was Griffin's fault in the first place for trading for those guys in the first place last year and giving Steven Adams an extension. But you were able to dump those 2 contracts. And then I feel like that was the most important thing to do this offseason, was to dump those 2. At least you're able to make a little bit more where you can go after that superstars. So Jonas is a free agent next year, by the way. So he's only got 1 year. So you might see him either get traded at the trade deadline, I doubt we extend him, or we just let him walk. I think either way is a possibility. But if Jonas plays well and he seems to fit well, you might see a extension. But and also we're not done, guys. We're not done. We're gonna trade for somebody. I mean, you're hearing Buddy Hield, you're hearing marketing. They need one more piece, and I think this team would be a solid little team. Sion and Bi, like I said, is enough to make the playoffs. And if you don't think so, then you're overrating those two. If you don't think that's enough to make the playoffs as an 8th seed, I know there's the play-in tournament, but this team with Sion and Bi, like I said, should be an 8th seed or better. Simple as that. And they put good pieces around. Devontae Graham wants to be here, and he's you should see his Twitter, man, his interviews so far. He's excited to be here, man. And that's a first. I've never seen a player that we signed, and he team-friendly contract. That's a bargain, dude. That contract is a bargain for what he can do. People forget what he did about 2 seasons ago before the Hornets got LaMelo and Terry Rozier. Dude was a balling out, averaging 20 points a game, dude. And, they draft LaMelo. They got Terry Rozier, so he had to come off the bench. But I don't see him averaging about 20 points, but he's a guy that can give you 16 and 7. 16 points, 7 assists. Now, he's not that great defensively, but he's a small guard. What do you expect? Lonzo wasn't that good defensively. He's a good team defender. And you say, well, Sion wanted Lonzo to stay. No, that's not the case. Sion's number one priority is to win. And he wants to win being the guy. People don't understand that. He wants to be the guy and he wants to win. I could tell he doesn't like the team. He doesn't want to team up with other superstars that are better than him. He kind of reminds me a lot of Kawhi. He's got a Kawhi personality outside of, media. When he's in front of the media, he's happy, jolly guy. But outside of basketball, when he's at home, what he's thinking, he's a lot like Kawhi Leonard, man. And he just wants to win. He wants to win. He wants to win championships. And I just feel like he needs to be more patient enough. And he has to do more if he wants to win here. I mean, you're not doing anything to help this team outside of your play. I mean, you got to do a little extra. You got to do some recruiting, man. Help us out. In about 2 more minutes, we're going to talk to Bryan Bienemy, King of Saints Twitter, I would like to say. But he should be on in the short second. We're going to talk Saints football. That should be really interesting considering all the drama we have had over the past week or so in training camp. But phone line is still open for another just 1 more minute. If you want to call in, talk about the Pelicans off season. I gave it a B+. No, I get a B- actually. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, man. Pelicans. Sion Bi got to step up. They got to be the guys. So it's the ball's in their court. I think David Griffin made the moves. He tried his best. He's basically saying, "Look, it's on y'all. Winning cures all woes." I guess that's what people say. That's what they need to do, and I think that's what definitely David Griffin wants to send a message to Sion Bi. If you want help, you got to win. You got to prove yourself. I was talking to a real good friend. He's a 3-man weave, Hill, and he said one of the reasons why you guys are not going to get any well-known players is because y'all are not proven. And I use the argument as a small market that plays a huge factor. being a small market plays a huge factor in landing free agents. But, another thing is we're not proven at all. We haven't been proven in the past, you know, we made the playoffs twice in the past decade? One with Monty, one with Gentry. We're an unproven franchise, and so far we've been, kind of dysfunctional. And I don't know if it's gotten any better. And I would say this about David Griffin: for all the moves he has done, hasn't been so great, but he has done a great job of building a good young core. Um, Getting Nikhil, Kyra, Jackson Hayes, Didi Lusada, bro. He's gonna be something. Trey Murphy, Marshall, Najee Marshall. That's how you say it. Undrafted rookie. He's looking really good. He was a rookie last year, but he's been looking good in summer league as well. You got a nice young core, man. So I give him props on that. If you can't land the big free agents, if your players that you're traded for turn out to be bust, like Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe's, at least you got the young product to fall back on, and you could stockpile that. Maybe you could trade for a superstar. So let's get into some Saints talk, because I know Bryan Bienemy is going to call at any second now, wearing this Joe Horn jersey, throwback jersey, by the way. So we get into Saints football. It's been a crazy offseason, right? Drew Brees retires, obviously. Marshall Lattimore gets in trouble, probably going to be suspended for some maybe 2-3 games. Davey Automata gets popped for PEDs. That's 6 games right there. Deontay Harris with a DWI. Apparently he tested 3 times to alcohol blood limit, or whatever you call it. He's going to be suspended for 2 to 4 games. Michael Thomas with his surgery and all the drama surrounding about that, he's going to be at least out for about 8 weeks. Will Lutz, 5 to 8 weeks. You're trying to find a new quarterback after life after Drew Brees. Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, both of them haven't really separated from each other. Even though Jameis Winston, the past 2 practices, has done pretty well. Sean Payton, he says he's in no rush in deciding who the quarterback is, which, I don't blame him. But we all know who it should be. And it should be Jameis Winston. It should definitely be Jameis Winston. Obviously, the more talented quarterback. He's extremely talented, man, but highly inconsistent. But the thing is, I would want to give Taysom a fair shot, but considering what we've had dealt with and the lack of weapons we're going to have offensively, we're just going to work with 3 running backs. He's going to be the core of our offense. Taysom, buddy, you might have to skip 1 year of trying out for to be a quarterback, because we really need you, man. We really need you to be a wide receiver / tight end / running back / kick returner / punt returner / gunner. Yeah, we really need you to do that. We don't need you at quarterback this year. I understand you wanted to be a quarterback, but Jameis Winston, he's going to be the guy, dude. And we need you as an offensive weapon. And that he needs to be offensive weapon. And Book apparently has been looking great for a rookie, which makes sense. I think the last show I did with Logan Graffia, we're going over some draft stuff. He didn't really like Book, but I really liked Book. I feel like he is kind of the perfect fit. At Notre Dame, he did a lot of check downs, over the middle passes, short to medium passes. Kevin Fitzmore, Michael Thomas. Oh man, dude, is he a clown or what? I don't know. We're gonna get into that, because there's 2 sides of that, and a lot of people don't talk about the Saints team's doctors. They're a little fishy, but I think both parties are in the wrong, man. I think both parties are being petty, and when both parties get petty, somebody's going to give in, and one of them is not going to want to. Like it's going to be a separation soon, and you wonder if not having Drew Brees is the reason why. Um, you figured Drew Brees for all them years, the last year or two, he was a little washed up as far as playing ability, but he's your leader, he's your glue guy. You know what I'm saying? So he would be the one, that reached out to Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas had a real good connection with him. Hell, he played for him the last playoff game, which he clearly should have not played. He should have got the surgery a long time ago, maybe last year. But he played for Drew Brees because he knew it was the last year. He loves Drew Brees. They have a real good connection. You wonder if that plays a part of why Michael Thomas is, acting like a drama queen, Kevin says he's got Winston and Hill. He wants out. Well, I mean, I don't understand why he wouldn't want Winston, though. I mean, Winston's extremely talented, dude. Like, I bought his jersey, too, so I hope he does ball out. But, I think what Sean Payton is trying to teach him is to be a little bit more patient. If it's not there, don't force it. And use your checkdowns, which is something, Jameis didn't do all that well, and Tampa. And for that 30 interceptions he did at Tampa, Bruce Arians played a part in that, Bruce Arians played a part in that. And the system he ran with Bruce Arians causes a bunch of troubles for quarterbacks. Bruce Arians has coached. So, I mean, you look at the other years he's had, he didn't even have half the interceptions he did with his last year with Tampa. So I'm not too like worried about interceptions. I am worried about, if he does throw one, does that hurt his confidence and he's going to continue, like, will he play bad after that? Evans and Godwin, man, Godwin is the better wide receiver, I would say. I love Godwin, bro. I think Mike Evans is a little underrated. I mean, not underrated, overrated. Godwin's underrated. Let's see. Kevin says, but I believe Thomas sees the decline of Noah and wants to go to a new team. He also is a diva big time. Not as bad as AB, but starting to get some vibes like AV. AB is crazy. That AB has something mentally wrong with him. Like, seriously. I'm about to see if Bryan Bienemy is coming on. Let's see. But yeah, AB, AB is crazy, man. He really is. Michael Thomas is not crazy. I think he just felt played because, he got in a fight in the practice last year. He punched Chauncey Gardner Johnson in the face in practice, and he probably called him a slant boy or whatever. And, Sean Payton, I guess wanted them to apologize, and Michael Thomas said, F that, I'm not doing that, cursed out Sean Payton, and it kind of started from there. And you look at it, that's where it started. And you go throughout the season, are the team doctors telling them the right advice? I don't know. He should have had the surgery during the season, and I think they told him not to, just so they can have him, and to have him for Drew Brees, So, he goes to the off season. They told him he should have had a surgery as soon as the season ended, right? He gets a second opinion. Nothing wrong with that. It's his body, So gets a second opinion. That second opinion turns out he says you don't need surgery. You can just rehab it and maybe you can work it back up naturally. The Saints agreed to do that with him, agreed to rehab with him, work his way back. But the thing is, Michael Thomas didn't do that in the offseason. He didn't keep that connection with the Saints and ignored him for 3 months. And then when he showed up for, team meetings for training camp, he's like, dog, my ankle's not good. Good. We might as well just take this surgery, man. So it's crazy. And they're going at it. You seen Michael Thomas rip, the tweet, saying you ruin your reputation by not telling yours. Whatever, somebody's got to step in. Who's going to be that leader to step in, bro? Like, Drew Brees is gone. It seems like the team's just, letting Michael Thomas drag in the ditch, So what's going on here? NT College U from off of Twitter says MT problem is with the front office. Is it though? I don't. Is it with Mickey Loomis? I don't know. I thought it was with Sean Payton. I think obviously Sean Payton is incredibly frustrated with Michael Thomas. So what's going on there? I don't know about the front office. I mean, we gave him a big contract like he wanted, and he's not going anywhere time soon. I think you're gonna have to wait. I think you're gonna have to wait until next year in June until you can trade him because it's so much dead cap he has. So I mean, he's not going anywhere, guys. So what are they gonna do? I think they're gonna be forced to make up. And somebody's got to be the bigger person, man. Somebody's got to admit that they're wrong. And I think both sides are wrong, bro. Look at his tweets. Yeah, they tell the story, but the thing is, like, he still ignored them for 3 months. And, that's not being the bigger person. You're a big part of this offense. You are supposed to be the next man up, the face of the franchise right now, bro. You got to be the bigger person. He might be in the right, but as far as you go back to Delvin Breaux and you go read his book and how the Saints kind of fucked him over, with the broken leg, kind of forcing him to play on the broken leg. I believe that's what happened. I don't know. I'm just kind of paraphrasing, I guess, but the team doctors are wishy-washy, but you just got to be the bigger person if you want to stay here in New Orleans. I think actually, Kevin's comment about, he sees the decline of Noah. I mean, it kind of makes sense. But the thing is, you kind of knew that when you signed the big contract. You knew you only had 1 or 2 years left with Drew Brees when you signed that big ass contract of his. And you knew you're going to be locked down, especially after we kept restructuring. We cannot trade the dude. Like, we literally can't right now. Like, I don't see how we could, it's just not possible. Right now it isn't. But he's injured. Who's going to want an injured wide receiver right now? He's not going to show up to week 8, and is he going to be in game shape by then? And I'm not too sure if he's going to be fully healthy. This is something that might linger for the whole year. So you look at what's going on with Jameis or at Taysom at quarterback. You're looking at a run first offense, and you can go back and sure, I think we were top 10 in rush attempts, but you got to realize what Taysom played 4 or 5 games. Plus after, when Drew got hurt, we ran the ball a little bit more often. But I think Sean Payton's going to go into the season with a 3-headed monster in the backfield. Kamara, Murray, and Freeman. Freeman was an awesome pickup. I tell you that. He's going to get on the field more than Murray just because he's a little bit more versatile. And that's not discrediting Murray's receiving skills because he's underrated in that department. But I think Freeman's a little bit more agile. Yeah, as Murray's just more of a north and south runner. There's a chance that Alvin Kamara might get his first 1,000-yard rushing season. So, but you might see him lined up as a wide receiver. Who knows, man? And you were looking at a big season from Marquez Callaway. He's going to have to be the number one wide receiver. Is Traquan Smith, who has been hurt during camp, is he going to finally step up? He's going to be playing on the outside like he likes to do. Is he going to step up? Deontay Harris might be suspended for 2 games, but you're looking at a big season for him. Sean Payton wants to incorporate him in the offense as much as he can. The dude, what I've been reading about Deontay Harris, people's tweets, they say he's got some juice. He's got some juice. And I actually saw that from Deuce McAllister tweet. He says, Deontay Harris has some juice. Pip juice. Nelly. Pip juice. So you look at that, and is he going to be able to step up? And then you got Jalen McCluskey, who was an undrafted rookie last year, played for the Broncos, I believe. I believe he ran a 4.28 on one of his pro days, or I don't remember, pro day or whatever at Tulane. I believe. Well, we got a call from Bryan right now. And we got on the phone Mr. Bryan Bienemy, I would say the king of Saints Twitter. Read the first sentence in my bio. What's up, man? How's it going? Just doing well. Just got off a long work week. Was off yesterday though, but I'm off tonight, so I'm feeling good right now. Dude, I'm saying, man, I went to the beach about a month ago, and it was pretty enjoyable. Even though I had to go to Florida, but it was nice to relax and sit on the beach. It's especially when you work about over 50 hours a week. Yeah, I know you're always working. I believe you're driving a big rig, right? For sure. Shout out to Bryan and all the hardworking people out there working hard every week. So let's get into it. Let's get straight to business real quick. Let's jump right on to Michael Thomas. So I'm just gonna give it straight to you. What's his future looking like after the preseason, even after this year? What do you think? I think I'm getting some comments. saying they can't hear you. Hold on, I'm about to fix it. My bad, dude. Let me see real quick. Let me fix.
Now in a little bit of a mountainous area, so it could be me.
All right, I believe they should be able to hear you now. Let me know in the comments section if you can hear them. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm working a brand new system here as well. But yes, you bring up Michael Thomas, and you said we're probably going to hold on to him now until next year because with all the dead cap money. Do you see this working out? Like, do you see this making up at like any chance of anybody making it up? Like, is Sean Payton, going to talk to him sooner or later? What's going to happen?
Personally, this is just me. It's a hunch that I have. I don't think it's going to be repaired. I think it can be repaired. I don't think it's going to be. And I think it's going to hinge upon what happens this year with guys like Callaway, Deontay Harris. Of course, they just brought in Chris Hogan. I think it's going to depend on what happens with those guys, Tre'Quan Smith included. If those guys go out and have good years, even until Michael Thomas gets back, I think we could be seeing the last of Michael Thomas because Sean Payton is a guy that believes in his system over the player. We saw him jettison a guy like Jimmy Graham. We saw him get rid of Brandon Cooks. And we didn't see the Saints offense miss a beat. Now, I know we had, the Hall of Famer himself, Drew Brees, back there pulling the trigger, but I don't think it's going to be that type of situation to where Sean Payton feels like it was all Brees. I think he feels like it was the system. And if he can win with a 7th-round tight end that he converted to, a wide receiver in Marcus Colston, if he can do that all over again, and find a guy like Marcus Callaway, and he can make him the same type of player, Michael Thomas could get shipped out. And I don't know if we'll ever see the Saints draft a receiver early in the draft again if that happens.
Yeah, and you look at the previous, wide receivers / tight ends that we drafted, 1st, 2nd, 3rd round. You're looking at, Brandon Cooks. We shipped him out. Jimmy Graham. We shipped him out. Both of them guys we shipped out, after, having some problems with them. And you're absolutely right. Sean Payton has no problem moving on with big time receivers. And I think it's a huge possibility, especially if Callaway steps up to the plate, maybe Tre'Quan Smith. I don't know, man. And, you might see Alvin Kamara wind up as a wide receiver more. Could you see that possibly?
I think that's going to be Ty Montgomery. If anybody fills that spot, I think Alvin Kamara will still get he'll get his snaps in a slot, no doubt. But I think Ty Montgomery is going to move over. He's going to be more of a wide receiver there in that slot type of role. We'll see Alvin Kamara catch passes. And don't forget, they did just sign Devontae Freeman, who's also a pass-catching running back. But the name I'd watch out for is Juwan Johnson. I believe he and Troutman are going to make one hell of a 1-2 punch at tight end, both or wide receivers and tight end bodies. And, of course, I think both of those guys, both being 6'5", 6'6" type of beasts, I think they're going to be huge red zone targets and middle of the field targets. That could actually take away some of the need to have a dominant slot receiver. I think the tight end is going to get a lot of play this year.
Yep, and a lot of people are big on Adam Troutman. People have been saying Nick Fournette has showed up a little. He's been, I guess, the veteran of that tight end group. Juwan Johnson, like you said. So it's a big possibility, especially if Jameis Winston becomes quarterback. He favored that tight end position back in Tampa a lot as well, with Cameron Brate. He was big on Cameron Brate as well. So I think you're absolutely right. The tight end position is the way to go in an offense. And do you think we will become more of a run first, maybe?
As long as Sean Payton is the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, I don't ever think there'll be a true run first team. I don't think it's going to be one of those situations to where you look at the stat sheet and you'd be like, oh my God, the Saints ran the ball 60 times. I don't think it's going to be one of those situations. I do believe, however, they're going to have to lean on the run a little bit more early in the season than maybe they will once Jameis hits his stride. Now, yes, I do believe Jameis is going to be the starting quarterback. I think once Jameis hits his stride mid-season, I think that's when we'll see the offense open up a little bit more. But early on, I think they'll lean on Alvin Kamara, Devontae Freeman, and of course, the 6'3", 230-pound beast that is Latavius Murray.
That dude is a beast, man. I can't believe he didn't get used as much as he should have last year, bro. I'm ready for Murray to break out. I'm ready for AK to break out with rushing yards. Maybe he might get his first 1,000-yard rushing year. And Devontae Freeman, man, I can't express enough as how much of good of a pickup that was. He's very versatile. He's a great receiving back. He can run the ball as well. I really like that pickup as well. What do you think about Freeman?
I love the Freeman pickup and the idea of he gives you one more person that can also catch the ball out of the backfield. It's basically like having an Alvin Kamara clone. And for those that remember when the Falcons blew that 25-point lead in the Super Bowl, well, it wasn't Matt Ryan in the offense that took them there. It was Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman. Now, the problem with Freeman has always been one of two things. It's going to be injuries, and he has a keen habit of fumbling at the exact wrong time in a football game. So I think if he can hold on to the ball and not put it on the ground, he's going to do damage in the Saints offense because you're not going to be able to contain Alvin Kamara, Devontae Freeman, and possibly Ty Montgomery on the field at the same time. Oh, by the way, there's also a little speedster that's probably about 5'6" if we're being generous, and Devontae Harris that's also going to be able to stretch the field and get those guys from underneath, giving guys like Alvin Kamara and, of course, Devontae Freeman that one-on-one coverage underneath. I like the chances if that's the case because either one of those guys can beat a linebacker. You're not going to put a safety on it because that's just detrimental downfield, especially with a guy like Jameis who can stretch the field now, and I think we'll see that return as well. So, yeah, when it comes to the New Orleans Saints, I love the Freeman pickup as long as he does not put the ball on the ground like he did when he was in Atlanta.
Yeah, plus you go on the O-line as well. Cesar Ruiz is having a good camp. Apparently, he lost 15 pounds and gained it back full of muscle, 15 pounds of muscle. So apparently he's starting to break out as well at that right guard position. You already got a stud at center. Obviously, you've been having two studs at the tackles, and well, you got poor little Andrews Pete. But you're looking at a good offensive line as well. So are you saying that maybe we might see a playoff berth with all the problems we have had?
I think the rumors and the exaggeration of the Saints' demise because of no Breeze and of course they're losing guys on defense and an injured player. I think the Saints' demise is greatly over exaggerated. I don't think that's it at all. If you look at the Saints just talent wise, 1 through 53, once they set their roster, they're going to be one of the most talented football teams in the NFL as far as personnel. Now, can they put that together and make it, a thing on the field? We'll see. And I believe they can. If you look at some of the teams they're going to play this year, and I know I'm never a guy that says look at the schedule because you only know how great a team is the week you're going to play them because injuries are always going to take place. We're all looking at that Green Bay game week 1 and saying, oh, my God, Aaron Rodgers is back. What happens if Aaron Rodgers tears a hammy in camp and he's going to miss that game? So I don't really look at the schedule, but I look at the teams, and I'll say talent-wise, I think the Saints are a more talented team than the Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, the Jets, the Dolphins, and a few others, the Patriots. So I think if you're looking at the Saints and you say, you know what, I think they can win 7 to 9 games off talent alone. Well, that just leaves 2 more games to possibly get you in the playoffs. And I think Sean Payton, his brilliance, can get you 2 more games. I'm going to stick right now, just based off talent, at 11-6. I think that's where the Saints will wind up somewhere in that neighborhood. And who knows? I mean, it could be 10-17. I'm sorry, 10-7 because it's a 17-game season, or they can win an extra game and go 12-5. But I think they're going to hover right in that double-digit area, and I don't think the Saints are going to be one of those 7-10 or 8-9 teams. I don't see that at all. I think Sean Payton is too good of a coach, and this team is too talented for that.
I think you brought up some excellent points, man. I'm not as confident. That's because I like to prepare for the worst. So just in case that it does happen, I'm not as surprised, I guess you could say. I went on a show last night called the 3-Man Weave. Great show. Shout out to them. I said we probably finish 7-10, 8-9. So what do you think would have to happen for to finish that? You think, maybe a few more injuries and maybe we might get down to that level?
Well, yeah, no doubt. I think injuries in the NFL are always the great elixir. It's always either going to be the cure for your team being good, as far as, you're coming back at from injuries at the right time, or you're getting hit with the injury bug at the wrong time. And we've seen that happen with the Saints. A guy like Sheldon Rankins playing well, and all of a sudden, boom, he's gone. And now you have that, you're missing that pass rush and that run stuffer in the middle. So I think, yeah, no doubt, injuries are always going to be the great equalizer. I just think the Saints are built to, they're built in certain areas to withstand it. We're going to miss Anyamata for 6 games. But I do think they've got guys like, Passanio, who's in the lineup now. They're going to have the rookie Peyton Turner. I think those guys can move inside and help out a little bit. And you'll have guys like Granderson and Cam Jordan on the outside that are going to fill in. I think the defense in the run game early on, because that's what the depth is, I think those guys are going to be able to kind of hold the things down a little bit until they're in a position to kind of catch their stride offensively. And that's what we'll see them take off. But yeah, injury at any given time, like if they lose Lattimore to an injury, God forbid, but if they lose Lattimore, they're probably done.
Yeah, and about a couple more questions and we can get you out of here. But yeah, if we lose Lattimore, we already we're looking at a 2 to 4 game suspension. I'm not too sure about that, but you're looking at the rookie Paulson Adebo, and you're looking at Ken Carley. I can't pronounce that right. I'm sorry, but Chris Richard, is he doing some wonders with the secondary play? You might see somebody out of nowhere. You got any names?
I think the rookie has a really good chance of starting. Now, don't get me wrong, I think they want to go veteran. I still think the Saints are looking for corner help. So if somebody drops into their lap, yeah, I think they'll take the opportunity. But for a fact, I know they went heavy after Stephon Gilmore. The reason why they didn't land him is because the New England Patriots wanted a ransom for him. And I can tell you from what I understand about that situation, the Patriots said they're not built to kind of lose a Stephon Gilmore for a 3rd round pick. So in order for you to get him, you're going to have to up the ante. The Saints didn't want to do that, so therefore that's why you're going to see them probably roll with a younger guy or go with a guy like, Prince Amukamara or somebody like that. But they went after Gilmore. Conversations about Xavier Howard, they weren't going to move on that for a 1st round pick, just wasn't going to happen. Now, I'm of the mindset that you should have, because there's nobody in the 1st round you were going to get next year that was going to be as good as Xavier Howard is now. So I would have went for that. They didn't, and I understand why. So that the rookie has every opportunity to prove he can be Lattimore 2.0, come out there, have a stellar rookie season. But I think it's going to be, a platoon system when it comes to corner. It's going to be, Amukamara's going to get snaps. The rookie's going to get snaps. They're probably going to put, another guy like maybe Patrick Robinson. I'm sorry, not Patrick Robinson, PJ Williams out there now since Patrick retired. So they're going to throw just as many bodies as they can out there and see what happens.
Yeah, we're gonna try our best out there. And Marcus Davenport, this is probably the last question. I noticed that you didn't say it. You mentioned Peyton Turner and Cam Jordan. Is this finally the year Marcus Davenport, hits that stride as the 1st round pick he is, and he's been having a good camp? Can he do what Trey Hendrickson did last year?
Is there anybody that's going to be a member of the Pokemon playing quarterback in the NFL? Because if not, no. I mean, unless he's going to be chasing, unless the quarterback is going to dress up like a Pokemon and he gets to chase him, or it's going to be anime, or, they're going to pretend that they're one of the comic book characters so he can pretend he's at Comic-Con. I don't see it happening. Now, mind you, I love it because I've been one of the biggest Marcus Davenport supporters, because I do believe the NFL should institute something almost like an assist when it comes to sacks. Because there's a lot of times when Davenport will eat up 3 blockers, and that's when, a guy like, Trey Hendrickson would get there. So I do believe that, he's helped get sacks. He just doesn't add them up. And I don't think, I don't see it yet. And as a guy who's been in the Saints locker room and a guy that's actually had a chance to talk to Davenport, he's a little bit of an off character. And I don't say that, disrespectfully. He's just a little bit of an off breed. He kind of beats to his own drum. So I don't know if he has the football killer instinct to say, you know what, if I see the quarterback, I'm going to break the quarterback. And because I don't think he has that, I don't think he has the knack to go after him and go get him like maybe a Granderson or a Cam Jordan or even, a Peyton Turner. I don't know if he has that gear. If he proves it to me and he proves me differently, great. Until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. He's having a great camp from, by all reports. But having a great camp means nothing. Do it week 1 and beyond, and then I'll believe you.
Right. We say all these players that have a good camp, but we want to see it in the actual game. You're absolutely right. So, you're saying 11-6, maybe 10-7. Is there any other surprises you might think, like maybe like a player that might break out this year? I think that's the last question I'm asked. So what player you think would break out this year?
Well, I'm definitely going to stick with the Juwan Johnson hype train. I think he's going to be a monster. If you look up, and Juwan Johnson has 6 touchdown passes, and I'm not sure if that really quantifies as a breakout season. But if you look up, he has 6 touchdown passes because he's such a big guy and he's going to be a red zone target. it wouldn't shock me at all. So I'm going to say offensively, I'm going to go Jawan. And I think Peyton Turner, if he can remain healthy, I think he's going to be a really good addition to that defensive line. So I'm going to go Peyton Turner on defense, even though he's supposed to by him being a first-round pick. And I'm going to go on the opposite end of that. I'm going to go Jawan Johnson. I think he's going to be a guy that we can look out for. Now, once Devontae Harris comes back, I think he'll help out as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us where people can find you on social media before you head out.
No worries, man. I'm always on Twitter. As you know, as I came on and you introduced me, man, Mr. Read my bio. The first sentence in my bio, the name is Battle Rap Bets. BATTLERAPBETS. Battle Rap Bets. I promise I'm going to try not to get my account suspended so you guys can follow me on social media. I'm promising. I can't say it's going to happen, but I'm going to promise to try not to get my account suspended. But football season is approaching, and, you know, Atlanta Falcons fans do live whatever rock they're under, and I tend to piss them off.
Man, they need to stop playing with you, Bryan. We need to get after them so you won't get your account suspended again. But anyway, I really appreciate you coming on the show. It means a lot, man, and hopefully we can get you back on again.
Anytime you need me, brother, reach out. Thank you so much for having me on the platform, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much, man. You stay safe out there.
Take care, brother.
All right, bye. And that was Bryan Bienemy. You heard it there. Go follow him on Twitter. I would say he's the king of Saints Twitter. Everybody follows him. He knows his stuff, man. He knows everything. He's been there and done that. So next, we're going to talk about some LSU football with Lonn Sullivan from LouisianaOdyssey.com. He was in the chat room just a second ago. Maybe I can text him real quick to come back on, but we're going to transition to that LSU football. Another, you know, you don't know what's going to happen with LSU. Let's see. I'm going to message him right now. All right. So I just mentioned he should be coming on pretty soon. Lonn Sullivan, he knows his stuff about everything LSU football. We're going to take a deep dive. You know, we're going to ask some juicy questions heading into the season, kind of give you an outlook, what to expect. You know, is this a team that could contend for a national championship? Who knows? We'll see. Or is this a team what everybody thinks they're going to be based off of last season, the 7-5 team? I believe that's what ESPN predicted for us. That's poo-poo. They're not going to be a 7-5 team. This team's got too much talent to be that bad. Coach O got a brand new staff like he should have. He actually took his time. Well, I guess Lonn's maybe not coming on. But yeah, I mean, you look into the season, LSU. Yeah, I guess he's not coming on. But you look at LSU. Was Miles Brennan even the starter for LSU before he got hurt? Did Max Johnson have the starting position the whole time? I think you saw it last year when he kind of broke out his big game against Florida. He broke out then. He was a big leader. You looking at the team, the team rallied around him during the summer, and not a lot of players did the same for Miles Brennan when he was working out as well. Max Johnson, the son of Brad Johnson. So he's been working every day on his game. I'm sorry, I'm texting Lonn right now. See if he can come on. So Max Johnson, the lefty, he was always your starter, guys. And I heard many people say this before. What's his name from AYS Sports? He roots for Max Johnson as well. He knows Max Johnson's was the starter the whole time. So you look at that. He's a guy that's going to play a big part of this team, and you only have one scholarship backup in Gary Nunsminger. I guess that's how you say his name. Not too sure. And then you have a walk on. That kind of affects the RPO game as well. So I don't know how they're going to use them. Are they going to try to play it safe and not, let him get hit as much since they don't have much backups? I don't know. But Max Johnson, he might be your next great quarterback at LSU. So another question I was going to have about LSU, John Emery, Ty David Price, both great running backs, I would say. They haven't reached their peak yet. Which running back is going to take, the next step? Which running back is going to, stand out from the others? I think that's going to be John Emery. So you look at John Emery, you look at the offense they want to run. Now, I'm not too sure how his pass blocking is, but I think he's a little bit more versatile than Ty David Price. I think Ty David Price is a little bit more of a power runner. John Emery, he could do it in the receiving game, and he could do in the rushing ability. So I think he's going to get more snaps. I think you're going to see John Emery, and John Emery was a former 5-star running back. So I think you finally see him break out. Ty Davis Price, he's going to be your bell cow running back as far as short yardage goes. I think you got a good tandem there. And then you look at the wide receivers, absolutely stacked. You got Kayshon Boutte coming back. You got Coy Moore, Trey Palmer, Brian Thomas. You also got a lot of people has been raving about, the veteran wide receiver, Jeray Jenkins. Just keep going down the list. LSU stack a wide receiver. If one's not going to break out, the other will. You got Hilton, I believe his last name is Hilton from Zachary. So, we are stacked at the wide receiver position. At the tight end position, we got a little bit slim after Nick Sorts, the former baseball player. He used to be a pitcher. He was actually drafted into the MLB. You're a little light there, but you got Cole Taylor and you got the freshman Jack Betch. Can Jack Betch be a better receiver than Gilbert was? Gilbert, the former 5-star tight end that came in last year, transferred this offseason to Georgia. He's not going to do much blocking. He's only a freshman, even though he might be able to do it. He might be able to do it because the dude's a baller. But I mostly see him as a receiver. Cole Taylor is going to be your guy that's going to be able to do both blocking and receiving. I wouldn't say it's kind of that unit is kind of like iffy. We don't know what's going to happen. Just a lot of unknown at the tight end position. Offensive line is your most experience, but yet I've seen a lot of people say it's probably your weakest position unit. And, I listened to Blake Ruffino a lot on AYS, and he says they're not going to be as bad as people say they are. He actually thinks they're going to be pretty damn good on the O-line. And I actually agree to that. I think, coaching last year kind of played a part, and you couldn't get much practice in last year. So you bring in the new O-line coach from Arkansas. He's a Baton Rouge native. He's going to get onto your ass if you don't do anything right. So I think the O-line's going to be great, led by Austin Deculus. I believe he's a 5th-year senior as well. So Austin Deculus, the leader of that group, one of the leaders of the team. So I don't see a problem with the O-line either. I'm pretty neutral on there. I don't think they're going to be great, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think they are. I think overall this team is going to be much improved. This offense is going to be much improved under Jake Peets. Your passing coordinator, DJ Mangus. Mickey Joseph has been working hard with the wide receivers. Kevin Falk at running back coach. They've been working hard. So this offense, you could probably say they will at least be top 5, top 3 offense in the SEC if they stay healthy. Defensively, you're stacked. You are stacked, especially on the defensive line. The defensive line, you are stacked. Now, linebackers, you get Mike Jones from Clemson, which I heard he's going to be a much better fit than Jabril Cox last year. And Jabril Cox was a second-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys. Jabril Cox is more of a he likes to play more of an outside linebacker role, play more in pass coverage. He didn't like playing in the inside where Bo Pelini had him in. Mike Jones eats that shit up in the inside. He's going to be your new inside linebacker, and that's what he likes to play. And I think it's the perfect fit. You might see Mike Jones, ball out this year. He's balling out at Clemson as well. Cornerback position, you got Stingley, Ricks, Dwight McGrovern. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but Dwight might be just as good as those two. And the question is, who are you going to put in the slot? McGovern's not much of a slot corner. He likes to play on the outside, which he does pretty damn well at. You still got Cordell Flott. You got a couple other guys. Your safeties, Jay Ward, Major Burns, Sage Ryan, the freshman, 5-star out of Lafayette. You got them guys as well. So you're absolutely stacked. Todd Harris, you might not see him on the field, but he's a junior. So, you still got some depth there. Cade York's coming back a kicker. We all know how good he is. He might be the best kicker in LSU history. I don't know. Colt David was pretty good. If anybody knows Colt David, Colt David, in my opinion, was a pretty damn good kicker. Everybody likes Cole Tracy, though. Cole Tracy was pretty good too. But who's going to be your punter? This is the first time we haven't had Sack your punter for the last 2 or 3 years. So is it going to be Peyton Todd, the freshman out of Les Moreau? Greg McMahon, he hasn't missed yet with your place kickers. He hasn't missed yet, so he's been a great addition. Lonn said he is going to come on for about 10 minutes. So we'll see how that goes. But he said he is going to come on for about 10 minutes. So, Brandy is my sister here. She says, how many starters from last year are returning, and do you see it as an issue? We got quite a few starters coming back, mostly on the offensive line. A lot of starters there. You didn't lose as much as you did as the national championship team. I mean, you lost Terrence Marshall. I mean, that was just about it. That's the main major guy you lost offensively, but we're deep at wide receiver. So I mean, it's pretty good. I don't see any problems. Adam Gase, I feel like he's at Alabama right now. But he says the LSU win over under is at 8. Over feels like free money. Yes, I certainly agree. There's no reason why this team can at least win 9 games. There's no reason. I feel like if Max Johnson, knock on wood, if he does get hurt, I think they still can win 9 games with Garrett. I feel like that's how good and talented this team is. You hired 2 new defense coordinators, 2 guys that Coach O went out and asked his former coordinators who to hire. Dave Aranda. He asked Dave Aranda, who should he hire? Durante Jones. Goes to Joe Brady. offense coordinator for Carolina Panthers now. Who should we hire? Jake Peetz. Brings his sidekick, DJ Mangus, which DJ Mangus, correct me if I'm wrong, used to be an offense coordinator himself at the Division II level at William and Mary. Now, it didn't work out so great, but I believe he was the youngest offense coordinator ever in college football. I believe he was still in his late 20s. So you got experience there as well. Your passing game coordinator. Apparently, Jake Peetz, he's been all over the place. You know, he's been with the Raiders, he's been in the pros, he's been with Alabama. Apparently, he was a big part of Alabama's success with Jalen Hurts. And I believe he was, coaching at the time with Tua was there. He helped implement the RPO. This offense was supposed to be a heavy RPO team. Now, with Miles going out, you don't have, depth at the quarterback position. That's why losing TJ Finley kind of hurts you a little bit. I don't know if he's going to start at Auburn or not. I like TJ Finley, the Ponchatoula Cannon. That's what I like to call him. But you lose him. So you focus on a freshman as your backup. So do we run more RPO, or we're going to just maybe not run the RPO as much as you would like to with that quarterback depth? I don't know. We'll see. Regardless, I think you're going to see, you're not going to see anything what 2019 was, that was a historical season. Nobody's going to be able to top that. You're not going to see that. So don't put unrealistic expectations on this team, especially them being young. The offensive line experience, the running backs are, seasoned. They haven't reached their peak yet, though. But you're looking at a young quarterback, young wide receivers. So, I mean, this is a young team. They still got a lot of room to grow. Thoughts on the lack of a good home schedule and attendance and how that impacts the players. Let's look at their schedule, actually. We're going to look at their schedule right now. And I think going to Bama is going to be tough. Obviously, that's always going to be tough. But when the last time we were 2019, we beat them in Bama. So, I mean, in Bama, everybody's been saying, they say this every year, though, but Bama said this might be finally the time that Bama might not be as good as they were as previous years. So we'll see on that. So I'm looking up their schedule right now. You look at their schedule, we'll look at all their away games. So you go to first game of the season against UCLA. UCLA shouldn't be able to touch you. It's UCLA. Chip Kelly is the head coach there. UCLA should be a good Pac-12 team, but they can't touch you, man. You cannot let UCLA stay in the game with you. They're going to score some points, but you cannot let UCLA beat you. That should be a win. It should be a win. You play McNeese at home, Central Michigan at home, win. You go at Mississippi State. Mississippi State might be in last place this year. That should be a win. You get Auburn at home, which you've been undefeated against since what? 1999, 2000. You beat Auburn every single time at home. So that should be a win. You go to Kentucky, now this might be a trap game. LSU versus Kentucky. It could be a trap game. So, because Kentucky's supposed to be a little better there. Coach Stoops has built that program up and got them the best you can be for Kentucky football. They're normally a basketball school. But overall, if you want to compete for a championship or even the SEC West title, you got to beat Kentucky. You get Florida at home. Now, Florida, even though it's at home, that's going to be a tough game. Last few years, Florida has played us very tough. Mullins, he wants to beat LSU. And I think that's one of his biggest goals heading to every season. And it was one of his goals at Mississippi State. And they're going to always play us tough, man. That might be a coin flip. I don't know. I know the Florida's lost a lot of prospects. Kyle Pitts, lost Kyle Trask, but Emory Jones is apparently supposed to be pretty darn good. So we'll see on that. But you're at home, LSU. Then you go to Ole Miss. Now this is where it gets tricky, man. Ole Miss is ranked 23rd right now in the polls. Lane Kiffin is not joking around, guys. This is not Tennessee, Oakland Raiders, Lane Kiffin, bro. That could be a trap game. More of a trap game than it would be Kentucky. Ole Miss could be a sleeper in the SEC. Now, do I think they will contend for an SEC West title? No. I think we're better. But Ole Miss is another team that always plays as hard, no matter if they're shitty or not. So it should be a win. It should be a win. But you can make an argument. You can write that down as an L. If LSU doesn't come to play against Ole Miss could win. And then you go to at Alabama. So let's put that as a loss. Just for right now. We'll see how the season goes. Even though people say, Alabama didn't return much. It's Alabama. Nick Saban. He has guys lined up. He has guys lining up to start. He has built that program to where it runs itself. So, I'm gonna put Alabama winning that game. You got Arkansas at home, should be a win. ULM win. Texas A&M at home should be a win. We're undefeated against Texas A&M at home, should be a win. So I think Ole Miss and Alabama is your toughest away games. And I feel like you can at least go 1-1 in those matchups. So I think you're looking at a 1 or 2 loss season. Simple as that. I think LSU will contend for a SEC West title. I don't know if they get there, and I don't know if they'll get to the playoffs, but I think at least you get a New Year's Six bowl. I think 9 or 10 wins. I think that's the goal, and I think that would be a very good season. And I think next year, we could build off of that. You're looking at a national championship team the following year if everything goes to plan. Let's see. We got some comments. Ryan says, "Go Pels!" They're playing the summer league basketball right now. Ryan says LSU's going 8-4. Tell me why, Ryan. Tell me why LSU is going 8-4. Because I highly doubt it. And tell me who they're losing to. What 4 teams is LSU losing to? I mean, I could tell you now, they're not losing to UCLA. They're not losing to McNeese. They're not losing to Central Michigan. They're not losing to Mississippi State. You can make an argument for Auburn, but you got them at home. You beat them ever since. I mean, you're undefeated at home against Auburn since what, 1999. You're not losing Kentucky. You shouldn't lose to Kentucky. You shouldn't. Florida, I could see that as a loss. Like I said, you could flip a coin. Ole Miss, maybe. Alabama, yes, I could see him losing to Alabama. I think we lose at most 3 losses, and I think we would have to have some injuries there. We would have to have some injuries. So you go into the season, you're looking at 9 or 10 wins. I promise you. That's what you're looking at LSU. So I'm trying to see, before we head out of here, I'm trying to see if Lonn's going to come on. I think maybe he had to run and do something real quick. I don't know. But I think we're going to reach a ending point of this show. It was a good first show back. I'm glad Bryan came on. Shout out to him for coming on. That was huge, man. He brought up some excellent points, even though we didn't get his audio at the first part of his when he first called, but we were able to fix it. And man, he gave some good analysis on the Saints. Pelicans, we're going to keep talking about them throughout the off season. The season is honestly right around the corner. Short season again for the NBA. And LSU football, we're not too far away. Go Tigers. So that's going to do it here at Off the Dome Sports. My name is Sean Melatello. Make sure you give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. And make sure to stay tuned for any announcements for following shows. And if you're a person who would like to come on the show, let me know. Send me a message. Anyways, y'all have a good one.